Good morning. Rise and shine, my friends. Today is Wednesday, June 12th, and this is Wake Up with KERA News. I'm Katherine Hobbs. Thank you so much for starting your morning with me. Today's high is 89 degrees, and it's going to be mostly sunny with just a few clouds. We are halfway through the week, my friends, and that means I am officially only 1 week away from my bestie coming to visit. Some people are vacationers and some people are travelers, and my friend and I for sure fit into the travelers category. Lest that sound too pretentious, what I actually mean by that is I overschedule us and he does not complain about it. I've had so much fun planning out the perfect North Texas itinerary for us, and honestly, I've been referencing a ton of KERA stories on the best things to do around town to build it out, so a huge thank you is due to my newsroom for making hosting duties way less daunting. But before I take up too much of our time over my very possibly overplanned schedule, let's get you the news you need to start your day. Four Dallas officers were caught on camera mocking a disabled veteran last year after he urinated on himself, and those officers won't receive a harsher punishment. The interim city manager says the letter of reprimand and sensitivity training they received were enough. Donnell Lane reported the officers for not letting him use the restroom at Sirius Pizza in Deep Ellum. That was despite his attempts to show them documentation that, because of his disability, he really needed access to public bathrooms. Brandon Friedman with the city's police oversight board said the officers should have apologized to Lane. He also said that Lane can't pursue further action with the city. Lane did not respond to a request for comments. The mother of Anthony Johnson Jr. says she hopes other people who have had terrible experiences in the Tarrant County Jail will step forward. Johnson died in county custody in April after detention officers pepper sprayed him. Video showed one jailer kneeling on his back. Last week, county medical examiners ruled Johnson's death a homicide. His mother, Jacqueline Johnson, reported Tuesday that she wasn't surprised by the medical examiner's report. The family's attorney says he expects criminal charges in Johnson's death. San Antonians now have one more reason to visit San Antonio College. In addition to earning a degree or visiting the planetarium, they can now make funeral arrangements for themselves or a loved one. Texas Public Radio's Camille Phillips takes us to SAC's new funeral home, the only one operating on a college campus in the country.
So this is our chapel. Seats about 60 people, roughly.
On the first floor of an old house that used to be the college president's office, Jennifer Floyd points out features of a space remodeled to hold funerals.
Family would sit here, caskets displayed up front, clergy. There's a keyboard for a musician, podium for the minister.
Floyd is San Antonio College's new funeral home director. She's been in the business 24 years and now trains the next generation.
We do mock arrangements. I take them to go pick up our hearse. We put caskets in and out of the car to give them an idea of what it's like to put a person in the car and take them out of the church.
SAC opened the first college-based mortuary science program in Texas in 1961 and already had embalming facilities on campus. Program coordinator Mary Mena says they've wanted to add a funeral home for 16 years.
When we thought it might happen, one of our first obstacles was that a funeral home could not be on tax-exempt property.
According to the American Board of Funeral Service Education, SAC is the only mortuary science program in the country with a funeral home on campus right now. A college in San Francisco used to operate out of a funeral home before it closed. Another in Sacramento is trying to open one. Mena says SAC lobbied state lawmakers, got an exemption for educational purposes, and finally made it happen.
It's a great learning opportunity for our students so that when they get out into the real funeral world, they've at least got some background on how to start, how to begin.
A practicum at a funeral home is already part of SAC's 2-year mortuary science degree, but Mena says the mortuary on campus will be a learning lab where students can practice their skills more immediately.
Sometimes, not always, but sometimes at the funeral home, it gets fast-paced that they may not have time to explain everything.
Recent SAC grad Jonica Fuller says she wishes she could have taken advantage of that on-campus learning lab.
It was a big adjustment to take myself out of a school setting and just realize that every day that I walk into work, it's going to be different. Every day, it's not going to be black and white like it is on our tests.
She thinks future students will have an easier time transitioning to the real world because they can witness real interactions with grieving families sooner. But even though it was an adjustment, Fuller says she loves her new job because she's able to make a difference.
The clientele is from the top to the bottom. So people that I would have never encountered, it's, people I would have never met in my life. It makes me feel good that I can serve them all equally and I can all make them feel the same way.
Fuller's first experience with the funeral home industry was as a young mom 14 years ago.
I had a daughter pass away when she was 3. And one thing that caught me, I did have a female funeral director during my daughter's process, her ceremony.
Now she feels like she can pay it forward.
It takes a certain type of person to deal with that every day. And the compassion that I had from that woman 14 years ago really solidified my decision on being there because I feel like I'm capable.
Mena says having the best programs possible to prepare future morticians like Fuller is especially important right now because many funeral directors are close to retirement.
There could be a shortage of funeral directors and embalmers.
Fuller says that's an opportunity for women like her.
I feel like there's going to be a shift in the industry in the next, decade because women are the future.
After all, says Fuller, death is one career that is never going away.
It's taboo to talk about. A lot of people don't talk about death. And now that I'm in the industry, it's like I think that people should be talking about it more.
Fuller decided to become a funeral director after reading a mortician's memoir. Floyd says students are drawn to the career out of curiosity, compassion, or sometimes even because they want to drive a hearse.
I've even had students think that we make a lot of money because we drive nice cars. But I think what makes us stay in this industry is that we love what we do. Even after you're long past that curious phase, you found your creative niche in providing care to families at their most vulnerable hour, and you develop a passion for it.
SAC's mortuary science program has close to 200 students. Mena and Floyd say the funeral home is fully licensed and ready for clients. Now they just need the phone to ring.
That was Texas Public Radio's Camille Phillips. All right, y'all, the Mavs are back at it tonight with the third game of their championship series against the Boston Celtics. Boston currently leads the series 2-0. The teams will play tonight at the American Airlines Center, where the Mavs face some pretty tough odds. The Celtics are on a 9-game playoff winning streak and are in hot pursuit of an NBA best 18th banner. The game starts tonight at 8:30. Did you know that wild elephants seem to have names for one another? A new study in Nature, Ecology, and Evolution built out this theory based on similar studies suggesting that bottlenose dolphins have signature whistles for different pod members. The wild elephants in this study have been observed using distinctive rumbling sounds to call out to one another. NPR's Shortwave podcast has an excellent episode out now that dives even deeper into wild animals' name-calling behavior. Be sure to give it a listen. Tonight is opening night for The Odyssey at the Samuel Grand Amphitheater. Director Mary Zimmerman lends her trademark irreverent and witty twist to the ancient tale. In this adaptation, a modern young woman is greeted by the goddess Athena as she struggles to understand the story. The show runs intermittently until July 19th, and for more going on across North Texas, be sure to check out kera.org/calendar. Thank you so much for starting your morning with me today. I'm so glad you take a few minutes to listen each morning. Be sure to subscribe to the Wake Up with KERA newsletter, also by yours truly at keranews.org, and check us out on Instagram and Threads at KERATX. I'm Katherine Hobbs. We'll chat again tomorrow.